Broadcasting live. It's America's longest running talk show on computers. It's Computer America, bringing you the biggest names in technology with guest interviews, new products, and your emails. Listen live at computeramerica.com on any device around the world. Email the show at live@computeramerica.com or find us on social media. Be sure to check out our website for contests, giveaways, show notes, live video stream, podcasts, and more. You're listening to Computer America.
Hello and welcome into the Computer America Show. We are the nation's longest running, nationally syndicated radio talk show on computers and technology. Thank you for joining us. I'm your host, Ben Crossman, and of course, our co-host,
Carissa. Hi, guys.
Yeah, thank you. And of course, hey, that's Carissa. If you have been out of the loop for the last 2 weeks, she has been co-hosting, doing a great job. And hey, she's our new co-host. So with that being said, everyone, welcome into the Computer America Show. Today on the program, we have a correspondent here with us, and not just a correspondent, but the graphics expert correspondent, where we talk about everything from, whatever involves graphics, and that could be everything from video games to our everyday lives to image manipulation and even video production. That's going to play a large part in this. So if you've ever been curious about I think that people are very familiar that, hey, after a movie is shot, and everyone's in those blue or green morph suits or whatever, after the fact, they add in all of the CGI. But it looks like more and more of that is being done in real time to better, I guess, kind of get people within the scene. And, but hey, we're going to talk about all that in just a moment. Everyone, computeramerica.com, that's where you'll find everything, including past shows, future shows, show notes, articles, podcasts, reviews, and more. Hey, you can find all that there, as well as links to social media. Find us at Computer America. Carissa, before we bring on Dariush, I wanted to, of course, ask you, as always, how are things? Anything new going on over there since 24 hours ago?
Nothing super new. I did just start playing Stardew Valley again, so I've been having a lot of fun farming.
Did it receive an update, or did the urge just hit?
The urge just hit. They did have some updates. I've seen a few new things, which is really interesting. I also, a few years ago, I had stopped playing because I had tried to mod the game and I broke it. And then all of my stuff was gone. It was like 100 hours worth of game time, and I couldn't get back into it. And I installed it on my new laptop, and my game was restored. It was a Christmas miracle. So now I get to play with my original game.
Mods are one thing that, everything from Stardew Valley to Skyrim to, so many other games out there. I've never really got into mods, but I feel like I should, because it's a good way for, I guess, kind of the everyday person to build upon what is already an awesome game. I've never, but I hear that the Steam Workshop is actually really easy to use once you start to use it.
I've never used the Steam Workshop. The things that I usually mod, that's why I broke it, because I don't usually mod the stuff on Steam. But the ones that I mod most are usually The Sims. So I get a lot of extra content and textures and stuff like that. But also I've modded Fallout 4. And I've got almost 500 hours on that. It does kind of ruin the game after a certain point, because if your mod breaks, then it kind of ruins everything that you built with that mod. But it did really improve the gameplay. It doesn't give you the achievements and stuff typically when you do mod games, but that's not really a problem for me.
It can certainly breathe new life into old games. I know that one very popular game in that category is Minecraft. I think people think of Minecraft and it's very, very low quality, and textures are very simple. But yeah, if you mod the heck out of it, it can look like the best 4K HDR RTX or I should say ray traced real-time ray tracing that can possibly happen. Minecraft can look better than most of the games out there because so many texture packs are available in modding. So, but hey, let's go ahead and bring on our guest and get this conversation going with, as I said before, the one, the only Mr. Dariush Derakhshani. He is a longtime Computer America correspondent, and he helps us break down all of the recent advancements when it comes to CGI, graphics, and of course he produces for Hollywood and of course teaches as well in this field. Dariush, welcome back onto Computer America. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you. Thanks for asking. It's really nice to be here. You make me
Yeah.
sound much better than I am.
Well, hey,
Appreciate that.
you're a lot of fun, and of course, our segments with you are always very, very popular because I think people
Oh,
are
super.
starting to realize that graphics just it's everywhere. Our conversations are more and more relevant every day.
Yeah, absolutely. We were talking about this kind of graphics and how graphics are getting to look more and more photoreal, like photo in a real-time sort of environment.
Hmm.
That's a drum I've been beating for a long time, and I heard a couple of politicians really on a talk show bring up the issue of deep fakes and how they're getting really into things. So,
Well,
yeah, I mean,
and
graphics and what
yeah.
we do it's everywhere.
So there's a little bit to that because I think, especially with things like RTX, I just said it, almost interchangeably with real-time ray tracing, which it's not. And I mix up my buzzwords sometimes, but I got to say that these deep fakes, they come in all kinds of names, and I wanted you to explain just real quick on that one in particular because I was hearing that Nancy Pelosi, let's take for instance, they said that her deep fakes were going viral, but really it wasn't really a deep fake. They just slowed it down by like 0.25%, and it made her speech pattern off. And of course, people said that she sounded drunk. But they were saying this is the era of deepfakes. But that's not exactly what you're talking about.
I think with it's a manipulation, which people have done in media since there's been media. Deepfake, I think, refers to taking an existing video and significantly altering the video and the audio of it to make it look photoreal, like digital humans sort of thing, something that we've talked about a lot in the past as well, where you can't tell that it's been entirely manipulated so much that it could be entirely generated and completely fake. So yeah, the Nancy Pelosi videos, not so much. And you know what? People should have fun with videos. I think you should make fun of anything and everything out there. It's the First Amendment, and it's important that we be able to do that. So I'm all for it. I think the gray area is finding what's a responsible way to do that, parody and comedy and stuff like that. But now it's getting to the point where deepfakes are, affecting public opinion and policy and politics, and that's messed up. It doesn't help. And I think graphics play a really big part of it. Posters and propaganda from way back when, it's at a level where it's digital media can be agendized, to be followed somebody's agenda. So it's weird. So real-time ray tracing is fantastic, and the RTX cards are a really great foothold on that beachhead. So it's really thrilling to see it. But I want to keep an awareness on whatever platform that there are real implications, and we should at least know about them as a society so we can make good opinions about them when it becomes super in your face.
I'm happy that one of the bigger advancements in the last couple of months with the rise of this is that companies such as Google and Apple and a number of other big tech companies, they are looking at how to automatically identify things that have been manipulated in some way. So it's not like it's not up to you to decide if that picture of a Tyrannosaurus Rex biting a Humvee in half. It's not up to you to decide if that's real or fake. Google will just tell you this is probably manipulated. So that's definitely good. And let me try something here just real quick, guys. Just 1 second. Let's see if this works. Okay, wait, it's processing. So there's this service called Clash, and we're going to... Okay, that does not work at all. Clash, I guess, takes little sound bites of each individual word and was trying to do that. And I thought, because I've heard some of these, that you can put any message you want and you can have it sound like Barack Obama, Donald Trump. You can have it sound like a lot of the talk show hosts. Essentially, anyone who has a lot of audio to sample from and to work with. Obviously, Clash.me did not work for the purpose that I was trying to do. But there are services out there that you can get really convincing audio, at least, and in some cases, really convincing video to say and do whatever you want. And it's available to consumers.
Yeah, crazy
Definitely.
talk.
What a great and terrible device.
Yeah, actually, like 20 some years ago, I was on a film with a wonderful low budget director, wonderful guy, and he hated working with a particular actor that he had worked with before, and he wanted to make a sequel. And he came and asked me, "Listen, Dariush," and I was fresh out of school, but I kind of knew a thing or two. And he said, "What can we do with CG? Can I just shoot an actor with like a green sock and you replace his head with CG? What do you need for that?" And I told him I would need probably about $60 million and about 24 people working for like 2.5 years to do something like that. And his reaction was, okay. And he's like a Roger Corman type filmmaker. Great guy. Like, I learned so much working with him. But now you download it, you can do it now.
There's that, and then like ever since the technology has been around since Need for Speed, that gentleman who unfortunately died in a car accident,
Paul Walker. Yeah.
Ever since then, I think it's in like a lot of actors' contracts that they have to take really detailed 3D imaging
Fast and
scans.
Furious, sorry.
Not Need for Speed. Wow, Need for Speed the game, Fast and Furious, but it's in a lot of their contracts that they have to take high quality scans of their face so that if something happens, they can keep filming and they could do exactly what you're talking about. That 20 years ago you said would take years and millions of dollars. Now it's kind of just standard practice.
Yeah, it's creepy how far it's come, and it's exciting to see where it's going to go. I'm super excited about a lot of this technology, and virtual production is a big thing in Hollywood now. Obviously.
Oh, I think his headset just died right there.
Sorry,
you're good.
My Actus from SteelSeries just turns off for no reason. SteelSeries. So, what was I saying? So, yeah, virtual production obviously. The zombie apocalypse of COVID right now makes it very difficult to have a proper film shoot. So one of the great alternatives or alternative options right now is to do as much of this work as virtual. So the entire term of virtual production has to do with marrying what you're shooting as live as possible with something computer generated or something other generated. So like a long time ago, back in the day of film, people used to, like Hitchcock stuff, you got a car scene, two people talking, you can see the stuff going behind them. And what's behind them is a projection screen. It's not green screen. They didn't do that kind of stuff back then. So they put a big movie screen and put a projector behind it and, shot moving footage behind it. So rear screen projection. So now what they're able to do is create these giant LED walls, like a giant TV that plays back the background that they want in an amazing fidelity. And part of that could be real-time, I don't want to say VR, but real-time CG environments, sets, things like that. And what that helps you do is, right now when you've got a green screen, all the light coming to you is green.
Yeah.
But when you've got a wall like this up, the light coming to you is it's a much higher fidelity to what it actually would be if you were standing there. So if I'm in a desert scene and the sun is behind me, I would get this beautiful glow on me. You don't get that from a green screen. You have to fake it. But with a big LED wall behind you, it makes it look so much more. And The Mandalorian did a lot of this as well. So that's a big part of it. But for filmmakers, go ahead.
And sorry to step on you there. And by the Mandalorian, that is like the first and last TV series I followed in probably years. That thing was really, really well done, and I'm
Good
looking
job.
forward to the next season.
Yeah, I don't know if I love or hate Baby Yoda. I have no idea. I'll talk about that later.
He's very memeable, so there you go. But I gotta say that the lighting that you're talking about, though, you're saying that you get that glow that you don't get with the green screen. Is that because I've seen CG that is very good at replicating that and changing that? Is this like they could do it in post, but it's easier and faster and cheaper to do it in with this giant LED wall?
Not necessarily. It really there's so many intricacies to the budgeting for this kind of stuff that it's hard to say. But the fidelity is definitely much better. You would have to work harder to make green screen look real than if you really had the real background. A couple of things that this is really helpful for is that it helps actors understand and really be immersed. And wonderful actors will be able to do that mentally, but still, it ups the level of realism for an acting experience to see what's around you. This technology has been around for a while. I've had the pleasure of working on stuff like this 10 years ago, where a live action camera's movement are being directly fed into a Unity environment. So the green screen is being keyed in real time, so you see what you're shooting directly in your CG background. The deal is now with real-time ray tracing, up and coming, you can have that real-time environment be much more lush, much more real, and almost forgo the whole green screen thing and just shoot what's, light what you need from that information as well. So you can even have lights that simulate the real color you would get from around you in a more delicate fashion. So it's pretty exciting. And one of the big components of virtual production is being able to recreate your sets, put your actors in place, and pre-visualize the film, or as much of the film as you want, in CG. Move the camera around. You can hook up your phone, move your phone, so that the camera inside CG moves the same as you would, which is kind of a holy grail for cinematography, because you want to feel the camera on you, and you want to be able to move it in a real sort of way. So it's really exciting. It's pretty big. Yeah. And if people are into this nerdy kind of stuff, check out. There's a lot of stuff coming out about this. It's really awesome.
Yeah, and then I've been showing some of the videos in the background of what you've been talking about. But there's also this one from the Weather Channel that is I noticed this like a little while ago when they were tracking, in this case Florence, but a couple of others, and they have like their weather guy in. Carissa, you keep referencing the holodeck, so that's exactly where my mind goes now. But it's a gentleman standing there, and they're talking about what. The scene right here, what does 2 inches look like versus what does 6 feet look like, things like that. And, it's so cool. It's obviously CGI, but I mean, it helps you visualize very, very easily.
Yeah, you get a lot more out of 3 dimensions than you do out of 2, without a doubt. This is great. And again, it's been around a long time, but now it's becoming much faster to process. So you can do things much more real time like this. I love it. This is so illustrative. It's wonderful. Yeah. I'm glad this is becoming more mainstream.
For sure. And then, of course, you linked to this article that we're going to have in the show notes, but it's everything about the Unreal Engine. And what we're seeing here, I mean, when this comes to, I guess, television, and I guess the main, like you said, this has been around forever, but the main point is that it's getting easier to do and more accessible. And I guess, hey, even mid-range or lower quality, or not quality, budget stuff is going to start looking as good as some of the better stuff.
And somebody with access to Unreal Engine, and let's not forget, Unity is a big player in this as well. So give some time to reading up on Unity as well. But this is becoming so much easier for you to make a film at home without all the more intricate tools. And I teach one of those intricate tools, so it's not in my best interest to say that this is But in these cases, yeah, it makes it a little bit easier. With motion capture, you can move around, capture that movement, and skip the whole animation process, which is very time consuming and labor intensive, but is an art and a craft in and of its own, in its own way, very genre defined. But yeah, it's pretty awesome. Virtual reality is great. I'm working on some initiatives to spread this educationally to film schools around the country. So I hope that this becomes a regular part of filmmaking practice, and this is ingrained as, you know, right into the middle of how you make a film. Well, there's this part of it is as important as, you know, picking up a camera.
And of course, all this is to, like you said, better help the director, the actors, and everyone, kind of see the scene that they're in. There's that very famous example of Lord of the Rings when not Ian McKellen, the other gentleman who played Gandalf. If anyone remembers his name.
Yeah.
Anyways, he's there doing a monologue, and he's supposed to be acting with, like, CGI characters, stuff like that. Essentially, he's standing in the middle of a giant green screen, and he famously started crying because he's like, this is not why I got into acting. There's no give and take. There's no, he obviously did everything very, very well in that, but there was no, I guess, kind of interaction between him, other actors, and the environment around him, which all this is catching up to that. So,
yep.
Very, very cool. And of course, you can find more there. Again, we'll put this link there. But especially, I guess, in the day and age that we live in with, Dariush, you work in this industry. I've heard that, like, a lot of production for, I guess, everyday TV film stuff has been put on pause because of COVID, because getting dozens of people into a building on a set is just not advisable at the moment. But animation, CGI, and stuff like that has been pretty much moved to home and about on track, kept on track.
Yeah. Working from home has become much more accepted. It's been possible for the longest time, but now there was a real push to get people to figure it out for their studios, and a lot have. And I'm hoping that location in a studio doesn't need to be such an issue anymore, because, I mean, personally speaking, a lot of work left the States to other areas that are less expensive for this type of labor.
India,
it would be awesome to see, some of that kind of equalize a bit. I think working remotely is fantastic. I mean, every now and then you do have to leave the house, but this has been nice to be able to teach from home and produce a few things.
We're all sad that we have to leave the house now. As introverts and people who enjoy technology, I'm sure that's we have adapted well. But obviously, the world will go back to normal. But for now, let us adapt. So, with that being said, and also, of course, speaking remotely, as I said before, and you've been teaching courses on that. You just mentioned from the education standpoint that you're hoping to spread this kind of information. But you do this on a daily basis. You do have students, and you teach courses and work for universities. So, I wanted to ask you, before we get into all the tech news that we have, how has that been for you? Because if you watch the news lately, there's a lot of coming back to school, and then almost immediately kids will be kids, and students will have get-togethers, parties.
Yeah.
They're sent back home. Yeah. Entire campuses are shut back down. How has teaching, not just teaching in general, but teaching your kind of subject, because I'm assuming that most students have access to the software from home.
Yeah. The experience is pretty great. It's been exhausting to figure out what is the best scenario to present to our students, and I commend a lot of the administration and fellow faculty have been just working their backs off to figure this out. If kids go to school, I mean, if anybody's a parent, as soon as your kid starts going to preschool or whatever, someone in the house is getting the flu and you're getting a cold, and it's going to happen again and again and again. So this is real. I mean, kids don't get as sick, yes, but they do spread it like anything. So I always tell my students who are asking about what should I do, should I come back, do what feels right for you. Period. Be careful, but do what's right. So a lot of schools are trying to figure out a way that they can give students access that they wouldn't otherwise have, but still keep the instruction remote. And that sort of hybrid approach, I hope, is going to be the way this fall semester is going to go. Because I'd like the students that don't have good computers at home for stuff that we do to be able to go to the lab, be 6 feet away from other people, and have protections in place.
Yeah.
And safely log into my class, do their thing, do their homework, and not feel like they're going to get sick, but still give the option to a lot of people that are like, I have what I need from home. I'm going to stay here. I'm going to work from home, including a lot of faculty. And it's hard to want to expose people to even the potential of such a big health disruption.
Right. I have come down with COVID myself. It's not pleasant.
Oh my gosh,
and
that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. Way back when. It's not pleasant, and I can understand why everyone's being so careful about it. But it's. The last thing I'll say on this is that I have seen a lot of people throw out some very short-term studies and some personal insight and things like that, where teachers are saying that they can't compete with the environment that students are in, where hey, you're at your house, you're in front of your computer, there's plenty of other distractions. Listening to an instructor is just not the most entertaining thing, and it's just not the right environment for learning and stuff like that. I gotta say, just like maybe virtual production, the technology has been there for a while, but we're just now catching up to the technology aspect, but also learning how to use it adequately. I think that virtual instruction is going to go through the same kind of renaissance. Like, I'm not saying that instructors aren't doing their best to teach, inform, and kind of engage, but it makes me think that there's so many tools, especially in AR, VR, that obviously almost no one has access to, but even remotely, that you can't just put a webcam on a teacher and say, sit down and watch this, because it's just not engaging, it's not entertaining. I think that remote learning can be even better. It's going to take time to figure it out.
Yeah,
and we're not there yet.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, the Battle of Britain in World War II, where
I was just thinking about that. Go ahead.
Pounding London, people had to stay in the subways. Like, children had to sleep in bunk beds in a subway tunnel. This is important, and it's amazing. And again, you have to do what's responsible to you, but also the people around you, because it affects people. I'm glad you're feeling better. Obviously, I mean, so many things could go wrong, and even the slightest chance, it's a little scary, right? So these tools, video conferencing, virtual reality, virtual production, virtual stuff, it's been around in the pipe, but the more we use it, the better. And it goes down to an internet infrastructure. And this is one of the things that's really important. One of the things that made America great and booming are highways. The highway system in America really opened up the whole country to travel and commerce. And we need really good internet. And I've got great internet that I pay up the nose for, but every now and then it crashes out. Yeah. But a lot of people don't have access to that. And that's the thing that makes me sad about some of the students that we can't serve, is that access. Part of it is we've got students abroad, and there's censorship issues where they can't reach some of the things that we want them to reach. There's so many ethical implications of this, but I think finding a responsible way to give access to everybody is really important. Really important.
Definitely, and I definitely know a lot of organizations that are working on that, and I know that there's a lot of initiatives. Speaking of initiatives, that are looking to give that access and access to, to technology, because that is a big divide. But hey, that is definitely going to keep track of that. But at the same time, Dariush and Carissa, if you guys don't mind, about half the show's gone already. It's flown on by, and we haven't even touched all of the news. So
For real, right?
let's go ahead and talk about this. And there's so much that we can talk about. I think we should kind of start in the past a little bit. Since you've last been on, Dariush, some stuff has happened that I wanted your reaction on. And Carissa, I think I don't think you were even on the show yet either. So I want your reaction as well, Carissa, when it comes to this. But in particular, this happened last week. I think I had one that was even. Oh yeah. I'm sorry. The first story was NVIDIA looking to purchase ARM. Dariush, I'm not sure if you had any opinion on NVIDIA, one of the largest chip makers and graphics card makers, essentially having the ability to purchase the largest mobile processor architecture, so that essentially everyone would have to jump through NVIDIA's hoops to do anything on mobile.
If they so choose to have hoops. I like NVIDIA.
Right.
They've made some amazing products along the years. I personally think it's a smart move. It's a very, very smart move. It's a business strategy at
Makes
one of
sense
its
for
finest.
NVIDIA, yeah.
Absolutely. However, I know I get a little skeeved out when a lot of things consolidate. And, look at Amazon. I used to like going to the store and walking around and, smelling the formaldehyde in the packaging. But I don't know. It makes me a little anxious about what it means for, small to medium businesses that are trying to go. Now, not to say ARM is a small to medium business, talking about the greater ripples from that little butterfly effect.
Yeah. It certainly is one of those companies that I think that people don't think about, kind of every day. But if you touch anything mobile or a laptop or anything like that, and I think Apple just announced that they're moving from Intel's x86 over to ARM with the chips that they're making. Odds are you're touching something that runs on ARM. So
now this would be a funny way to actually finally get NVIDIA properly into an Apple machine.
Yeah, and all it took was
nerd burn.
Yeah, and all it took was Apple to go their own way. So there you go. Yeah. Okay, so there's that one. Just very quick, and Carissa, I don't think you had anything to add to that. But this next one, I think that you would, Carissa. But I'll start with Dariush, if you don't mind. Pro-China, and we're not going to talk about China, but we will say that they are doing something that is actually pretty interesting. And I'm sure that a lot of people out there, let's see, I believe the website is thisisnotarealperson.com. I'm not sure if you've ever heard of that one, Dariush.
I have not. I'm going to check it out right now.
So let's see. This is not a real person. And I'm sorry, thispersondoesnotexist.com. Kind of a weird one. And if you're watching the video portion, you can see it there. And essentially, this person, they show you like the 3 or 4 different images that they combine. And Darius, you can speak a little bit on how they do that. But I just want people to know that the article I'm referencing is that a pro-China propaganda arm, they decided to essentially get profile pictures for their Twitter account. But of course, if you could just, kind of go to Google Images, reverse image search and see, oh, they typed in business white male and, took the second image. No, these images will never pop up in a reverse image search because, they're completely new. They're generated every single time.
Yeah, it's compositing at its finest. Taking different elements of different images and merging them together. It's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. But I have no idea. I got to check my heart rate right now because this is crazy.
Well, it goes back to what you were saying a bit ago, saying, be skeptical of what you see because deep fakes and so on and so forth. And again, this is something that you can't trace back to, this is a profile picture stolen from this person because they're completely new, but they look
because they're new
flawless.
people. Yeah. It's, you take the nose of one photo and the cheeks of another and the eyes of another and you just merge them together. And it's, what worries me is that just generally, when people have access to greed, they'll just go for it. And the way that this is being used to generate fake opinions in the public sphere, that's genius. It's awful, but it's just pure genius.
Yeah,
but awful.
It's very interesting, and Carissa, I'm sure that you can see, kind of what we're looking at here with all these random faces. And again, it seems almost like counterintuitive from like a radio standpoint, is that we're not supposed to show people that maybe we did not get their express permission to show here on the show, but
these aren't people.
All these people they're not real, so I can.
Yeah, no, I think I don't know. It's weird. I'd like somebody to step in and say there is now a law that says any such image needs to be captioned as such, that there's a mechanism to learn that it's fake and not an actual person. Same time
about that for the deep fake conversation earlier, like there should be some kind of law in place that kind of prevents that kind of wrong usage from happening.
Absolutely. I think France in their magazines had said if you airbrush a model, you have to disclaim it. I think we need that, but at the same time, it's a little creepy asking the government to make a law that says that. It's just and it's sad to me that nobody would stand up and say ethically this is not cool. I'm going to follow an ethical line as opposed to be mandated to follow a legal line. And that's what makes me want to go get a Kit Kat in the middle of the night. And just
I think it's important because, it comes back to the whole internet neutrality thing. Like, it's just something that we've never seen before. It's something that's never been done before. This is all very new, this stuff that's happening. So, there's not...
Legislation does have to catch up.
Yeah. In a way, it's been done in the misrepresentation of what people say and the misprinting of quotes and things like that. But, I don't know. And the pervasiveness, this stuff is everywhere. Everybody's exposed to it. And it's implicit. It's under the radar.
One thing that I've definitely been noticing, and especially with financial reports as well as with certain press releases for tech in general, and it's not expressly stated anywhere, but I have noticed a rise in artificial intelligence in generating stories, because AI can go out and pick data that's been reported in other places, or pick up kind of key lines and key phrases in a press release, and then they just kind of automatically generate a new one and push it out. I'm seeing a rise in that as well. Yeah,
it's creepy, and it's hard not to get further and further into that conspiracy theorist and it's like a loose thread, but a lot of those loose threads are false and fake, and it's a slippery slope into just crazy madness. And that's why I like being at home with the internet shut off and a little foil hat on.
We don't need more fake people. I like to be fake people on the internet when I play video games. That's what I do.
That's what the internet's for.
Yeah,
that's what politicians are for, to be fake people.
Oh, wait, I got something for that. Wait, I got something for that. There's all these things. Wait,
no offense to politicians or fake people.
I don't have a rim shot. I feel so bad now. Okay, wait, rim shots. Let's see.
It's the timing that is now super funny about this.
Oh, it is totally off now. I'm not even going to do any more. Okay, so Carissa, write me an email, get a rim shot. So there you go.
All right.
Okay.
I don't know if I want to write that email, but okay.
Perfect. All right, we will fix that. Okay, so there's that story, and again, I found that was loosely related to our conversation here with Dariush because hey, this a while ago was almost impossible, and now, hey, people are doing it for free as kind of like a research
I know that
project.
guy. Right.
Yeah, I'm sure
exactly.
that you know him. His name's Ted Dancing. So yeah,
Fakey Fakerton.
Yeah, exactly. So, but I found that one interesting, and that will only continue to get worse in a sense. So.
Yes, sir.
There's only a fine
Yes,
line
sir.
between meme and legal issues. So
Absolutely. So there's that one. Looking through some of these other stories, and Carissa, you sent this one as well. But actually, let's do some rumors. We've been talking stuff a little bit about the past. This is stuff that is upcoming, not confirmed. But Dariush, I'm sure you've been hearing about it. There are a new slew of NVIDIA cards coming, and I think that includes the 3090, the 3080, the 37. I don't think 3070 has been leaked yet, but I think 70, 60, and 50 are probably in the roadmap somewhere. NVIDIA leaks. Hey, we kind of know what might be coming here in a bit. And just to kind of get the information out there real quick, you're looking at RTX 3080, which is, again, the next generation. Not confirmed, but I think NVIDIA said that they're going to announce them August 31st. So by the next time Dariush is on, we should have these things, kind of released and, official from NVIDIA. But until, since he's here like 2 weeks early, RTX 3080, 19 gigs of GDDR6, 2.4 gigahertz. You're looking at clock speeds of 4.75 or 4.7 gigs. And then 10 gigs of video RAM, so, built in. Essentially, this thing, by all accounts, and this is what they're estimating, about 30 to 50 times more efficient than the current 2080, 2070, what have you. Huge performance increase.
Yeah, big time. And I heard, and this is just a rumor, that it also folds your laundry.
Good, because it's hot enough to heat my house. I better do something else.
Yeah, for real.
It's very, very cool. I mean, the performance increases, obviously, NVIDIA is going to play those up by doing tasks that are going to play to its strengths. But for RTX in particular, they're saying this is the one that, is because I guess like the 20 series, the 2080 and the 2070, they were kind of almost like first generation RTX. This is one where they've perfected it and, general improvements.
Yeah, I think that's good, and I want to see an affordable version of this because I'm all about the real time.
That's where you're going to be disappointed. Affordability, I don't think is in the roadmap. From what I can recall, and it might be like the 3090 Ti, like the ultimate top of the line for this generation. I've heard rumors of $1,500. Oh, and I think his headset just died again. Just a moment.
Didn't want to hear that price anyway. It was too much.
Yeah, Carissa, you're right. He didn't want to hear it, and neither did the SteelSeries headset. But I will say that
SteelSeries.
So again, I was just saying that I've heard rumors that the top of the line for this generation, maybe like the 3090 Ti, I hear is going to be about $1,500 for a prosumer card. You just said woof. Why are you saying oof?
That's who doesn't have $1,500? So
exactly,
it's expensive. If they get it in the $500 range, or have a good offering in the $500 range, and they will, that's when you're going to expect to see more of an adoption. And I base this on no factual data, but I have a feeling that's about I think that's about when people will jump onto the ray tracing bandwagon more and more.
And I think Dariush, I don't know if you know off the top of your head, is there an RTX 2090 or does it stop at 2080? Because I could have sworn it stopped at the 2080.
I'm pretty sure it stops at 2080.
Yeah, so I don't think there's 2090.
No.
Wait, actually, I take that back. It looks like there is an RTX 2090. Wait, no, it's a YouTuber. A YouTuber created it himself. Good for him.
Yeah, right. I don't think
2080
look
Ti.
at that.
Yeah.
8-way RTX. Wow, that's crazy. 8-way.
It's
SLI.
that's a lot of SLI. I'm sorry, that's a lot of SLI connections, which I think a lot of people don't even like SLI. But there you go. So yeah, so it goes up 2080. It looks like they're going up on the high end to the 2090, and they don't have announcements for 2070 and below. So, or I'm sorry, the 3090
30.
and the 3070. So it sounds like 1500. And then if I had to kind of guess, I think that the lowest that they're immediately going to release for this generation is probably going to be in like the $700-800 range. And of course, if you want anything lower than that, you can go with previous generation or wait until they come out with something lower. I think NVIDIA knows that they have the prosumer market to themselves. AMD is doing really good things, and I'm really happy with their cards. But I think NVIDIA knows that they kind of have the higher end prosumer market to themselves.
I think the best thing for the global computing community is to have a standard ray tracing paradigm, and not keep it proprietary. But I'd like to see that happen, but I don't know if it would. Like OpenCL versus, CUDA in the days before. So I don't know. We'll see. But
I'm seeing more and more games offer it, and I know that the next generation of PlayStation and Xbox have both expressed interest in, well, they both said that they will support real-time ray tracing. So even gaming consoles, and Dariush, you were saying about the $500 range. Both new consoles are supposed to be about $500, and I know that's not just the graphics card, but yeah, they're going to have ray tracing.
Yeah, you have to put air quotes around real-time ray tracing. For a good while to come, I have to say, even with super mega crazy systems like this 8-way SDI, what is it?
8-way NVLink RTX 2090. Yeah.
Yeah, the NVLink, which is exactly. It's that's bonkers. Bonkers. But yeah, I think $500 is about when most people were like, yeah, I'm going to try this ray tracing thing out. And the more games, like you said, more games are offering it, which is really going to bring more people to that.
Right. And Carissa, I mean, I know that you said you just purchased a new computer, and when you were looking at computers, I mean, how important was your graphics card decision to what is you were doing?
Well, it's specifically a gaming laptop, so pretty important. I have to open it up and see what I've got in there, but I'm pretty sure it's an NVIDIA something.
NVIDIA gaming laptop. I mean, they do make
It's
laptop
an MSI
versions.
laptop, but I changed out the card when I bought it.
Yeah. I think that a lot of gaming laptops, though, they do come with like, I think they're like named the same, Dariush, and you might know this better than I do, but like, especially lately, like they're not like the mobile version of a graphics card, but they're like the full-fledged thing, just kind of shrunk down a bit.
Yeah. The die size, the power requirements, all of those have to be taken into account when you're putting it in a laptop. Thermal is a big factor as well.
Unless it's a workstation replacement laptop, and then it can be as bulky as you want it to be, because as long as you can lift it, it is portable, technically.
Exactly right. Exactly right. I've been there.
Yeah, it's I saw some of those out at CES this year, and man, they I don't know who's purchasing these laptops that are $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, but you could kill a small child or a small dog if you dropped it accidentally in your home. They are technically portable. Again, I'll use that phrase. It's
They should come with wheels like suitcases.
Well, hey, if you're Apple, you can charge an extra $200 for that.
Nerd burn.
Is it a burn? If it's true though, that's just the way life is. So there's that one. Let's see, and I think there's this article which kind of goes hand in hand with what we were just talking about. NVIDIA GeForce RTX 3090, 40 to 50% faster than the RTX 2080 Ti, and they're saying for $1,400. I've heard $1,500. Yeah, those performance, and this is a lesson I picked up from you, Dariush. Don't trust benchmarks from the manufacturer because they will rig it so that the test that they do is just perfect for how they've designed their chip. Wait for the benchmarks from third parties.
Absolutely. And real use results is really important as well, because, you know, running whatever you're running on your computer somehow going to affect performance overall. You know, what you have installed, all that kind of stuff matters.
Absolutely, absolutely. So there's that story, and again, we'll know more about that. And Krista, don't worry about what I just said. So all that we're going to know about that on August 31st. We'll cover that when it happens. Probably do a little write up of it. But Darius, by the time you hear next, we'll have that to talk about. And then I think even the show after that in October, I think that NVIDIA is having a big conference in October. So we're going to see what they're, announcing out there. So plenty of stuff from NVIDIA. And AMD, if we want to give equal airtime to AMD, I got this one here about their processor. The AMD Ryzen 4000. And it looks like a gentleman has clocked his to 6.666 gigahertz. So that is about the fast. Well, I take it back. It's not the fastest. I've heard of some, but it involved liquid nitrogen and all the different cooling solutions you can. But still, a 6.6 gigahertz processor. That's crazy fast.
Yeah, and it goes to show how important efficiency is to the processing capability of a piece of, chip like that. The more efficient you can make it, the less power you have to use to get the same result in calculation. It's amazing what they're doing, and my hat's off to these engineers. It's amazing.
Yeah, for sure. And actually just reading a little bit into this, how did they do that? Let's see. So motherboards often used for overclocking due to their shorter traces between the CPU and memory. They use the mini ITX motherboard because it has shorter traces, whatever that means, between the CPU and memory.
Yeah, the metal, the wires between the components. Yeah.
I got you. Yeah, so they're super short. The APU itself was underclocked to 1.889 megahertz, and though it was running at 1.5 volts. And of course, all of that, they said that, they had some latency here, but essentially, they're able to do it. But I think in a real world, like you were just saying, in a real world situation, this is not something you would want to maintain because, oh my God, that would burn you horribly. That would be worse than McDonald's coffee. Now, there's that story, and then let's see. I don't feel like talking about Intel though. Poor Intel. So let's see. We have less than about 5 minutes left, guys. Dariush, Carissa, I don't know if you guys had a story in particular. If not, I was thinking we could talk about the PlayStation controller because I like talking about controllers. But I'll let you guys decide.
Well, that's fine for me.
That works.
All right, we're gonna do what I want to do. It's the Ben Show. I like this. This is good. But hey, and Dariush, I know that when you play video games, obviously we talk about PCs all the time. I'm assuming that you play PC. Carissa, what is your console of choice, or do you play PC as well?
I play PC, but I also have a Switch. But my typical console is the Xbox. I did grow up with the PlayStation 2, but it's been a very long time since I've had a PlayStation.
You may be the only person I know that hasn't jumped ship to PlayStation, or at least jumped ship from PlayStation to Xbox, because it seems like everyone's going the other way. So since, for the last couple of days and weeks and so on and so forth, we've had a lot of leaks about the PlayStation 5. One of them is the controller, and people are mad, almost, I feel, unjustifiably, that their PlayStation 4 controller and other peripherals will not work with the PlayStation 5, but the PlayStation 5 developers explain the DualSense controller and why it's so important to have this new controller with the PlayStation 5. Dariush, have you used a controller in any amount of time, and what's your feeling on modern controllers, if you have?
I like the haptic feedback, the vibrate and things like that happen. I've played the Xbox One as well as the PlayStation 4. But since my son has taken the PlayStation into his room, I have no access to it anymore.
Aww.
So I like it. I like feeling when something's happening. I've yet to try out like steering wheels and driving games and to feel the feedback here, but I'm curious about
I
DualSense.
Yeah, I had the steering wheel back on Xbox One. I
Mhm.
actually had a system and was not a fan of it back then. But I know that people build these flight simulators and driving simulators that are just so over the top when it comes to hardware, and it's very impressive. But I got to say that this article in particular is talking about games for PlayStation and how they're all going to try to utilize the DualSense controller with the haptic feedback. The triggers are going to have haptic feedback, and I guess essentially they're going to, because I guess with video games you look for visual cues, you listen for audio cues, you do that kind of thing. And I guess, Darius, if you want to put on, like, let's say your movie making hat for a second, those are kind of the tools that you have. Your ears, your eyes. They don't have smell-o-vision yet, and things like that. But with video games for the next generation console, they're going to give you, I guess, kind of physical feedback, that the haptic feedback before it actually happens, so your brain can kind of react to something that is about to happen or is happening in real time. And I guess they're saying that that's their way of making the game feel, I guess, heavier and grittier and deadlier, is
Yeah.
because you have to react in that third sense.
Yeah.
I feel like that's
Short of
cheating,
that,
though.
You feel like it's cheating? Why is that
Yeah.
correct? Why?
Because like that's part of the excitement, right? You walk into the room and you turn the corner and the zombie's in your face. But if your controller buzzes, then you're going to know something's happening. So then you're like kind of expecting it. So it kind of brings down that shock factor, I feel like.
But I think that their point here is that it's going to be fractions of a second. It's going to be just a way, it's not just, hey, a picture of a zombie on the TV.
Right.
It's going to be, things are buzzing, the audio cues are going, like it's a mix. It's an added bonus, I guess.
Gotcha.
What,
So
what,
I thought it was happening like right before any of that happened. So I was like, oh, it's a warning almost. But if it's like happening in
Yeah,
time, then it's like, oh, I got hit by
in
the
time,
zombie. Oh
in
God,
time,
my
in time.
controller's
Yeah.
buzzing.
yeah. Wouldn't it be amazing if you walked into a dark room in a game that's got zombies and you can feel the breath on the back of your neck?
Ooh,
It's
no.
it's very it's intended to get people much more immersed into the story, and that's a really important part because the technology between games is so similar nowadays. What draws you in are the characters and the story and feeling like you're a part of it, and that I'm all for it. But it's going to be limited because it's just in your hand, so you may feel a little buzz on your palm as opposed to all over. That might indicate maybe there's something behind you. That that I don't know. That might be kind of cool. But I also like the Atari joystick. One button, one stick. It's not super
We've
complicated. Just
evolved.
play the damn game, and just move on. So I don't know.
We have
I'd have
evolved.
to experience it.
We have evolved beyond that, and even to to your kind of point there. And I know that you know you're kind of pie in the skying it with feeling that sensation there on about that kind of thing. My point is that we've had companies here on the show talk about experiences almost like escape rooms in malls. I'm not sure if you guys
Yeah.
are familiar with those, but they would use essentially the same amount of space, but they set it up for, and they're using IPs like Alien, for example. And you put on the headset, you get a virtual controller that would be like a gun or something like that, and they build the 3D space to have sound effects and movement and air and stuff like that, but then everything virtual would be happening through your headset that you're wearing. So like the physical space is yours to explore, but it's almost mixing that real-time virtual experience as well. That's there, but it's currently in malls and things like that. It's you need a much more defined, almost like almost like an amusement park ride. You need like a defined space.
Yeah. Yeah. And who doesn't have enough room in their house for that?
Who doesn't have $1,500 to buy a graphics card either? And by the way,
That's exactly it.
it was $13.99 for the RTX 3090 and $14.99 for the Founders Edition, which I guess is like the pick of the litter. Like things are just a little bit faster, whatever it may be. So everyone, because I just did it right there, there's music playing softly in the background. And Carissa, Dariush, it's been an hour. Unfortunately, that's how long the show is. And yeah, thank you so much, guys. Dariush, if people want to find out more, of course, we're going to put up your social media links and all that good stuff. But I want to thank you so much for coming on the show, and hey,
Pleasure.
just hanging out, having fun.
Fantastic. I love this show. So thanks for having me on as always.
It was nice meeting you.
Yeah, likewise. I'm looking forward to the next one.
Absolutely. And hey, stay safe out there, Dariush. And, really, I hope that educating in these times, I hope it goes flawlessly. And hey,
Thank you.
Everyone adapts well. And to all the students, hey, out there, listen to him. He's a good guy. Carissa, Dariush, everyone out there, we'll be back next time. More Computer America. Tomorrow, we have the end of everything, an author, and it's going to be a lot of fun. We'll catch you there. Bye, everyone.
Bye.